All right, everyone, we are all set for our live class with Silvia Camerini. Everyone, welcome, Silvia! I'm
Hello,
so excited
everyone.
to have you here teaching our teaching your heart connection workshop. You are a mentor, a life coach, a healer. You do so much, and you are a mommy as well. And you are so super beautiful and exciting and energetic, and I just adore your energy. So I am so stoked to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, Elizabeth. I'm very, very glad to share this. That has been an experience of mine, actually, the Heartstorming. So thank you so much. And I hope everyone is going to enjoy it.
Yeah, let's see who's going to hop on while we do. So Nadia's already here, but surely people will be jumping on, or they might join us later for the recording. Okay. Right, so all about the heart today. That's our topic, guys. So if you have a look on your worksheets today, we have lots of beautiful exercises there for you to work with. And yeah, Sylvia's going to take us through a little bit of a class. So she's going to talk about her main work and about what she's passionate on when she's doing her work. Off you go, Sylvia. The stage is yours.
Wow, thank you. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that this is a little bit vulnerable for me because, as I said, this all work came from a very intense experience that I went through. So it's like sharing a part of my life, actually. So all started, I want to give you a little bit of the story that brought me here to this heartstorming process so that you can understand better what it's all about. So around 1 year ago, I had a very, very intense and profound meeting with a guy who I believe to be my twin flame. So I don't know if you are familiar with this concept. Anyway, very, very shortly, it's like a belief that when you come here on planet Earth and you incarnate in your body, basically your soul goes into two different bodies so that you can experience a faster ascension, so that you have two life experiences to live. And basically the same part of your soul is embodied in two different bodies. So when you meet, this meeting is very intense and it triggers a lot of deep emotions and a lot of also, like stuff that you have to release because it's like facing yourself on the mirror. So I went through this very, very intense experience that was very short as well. It lasted for about 2 weeks and then it stopped drastically. So I went through another very intense time of healing. And this time of healing basically led all my gifts to emerge. So I started to receive messages, to have visions, to experience physical sensations. And all this went on and on for months, and it was very, very intense. And for me, it was something like discovering a very potent and powerful gift that I knew a little bit I had, but I wasn't so aware of all this power that was within myself. And through this experience, I felt more and more the need to attune with my heart center. So at the beginning, I set the alarm, as you wrote in the worksheet, Elisabetta, today. And I set the alarm 3 times a day to attune with my heart. So I physically put, my hands on my chest, and I stopped for like 1 minute or so, and I was feeling my heart and feeling my heartbeat. And, I was so connected with universe and with all these truly love flood that was coming to me, that I was starting to receive other messages. And I was diligently writing everything down. So this receiving of downloads lasted for about 1 month, and it was very intense. And every day I had these messages all about the heart. And so I started to realize that this was you know, between the end of 2016 and the beginning of 2017 this year. That was exactly when we started this new cycle of the 9-year, and we ended the previous one. So this new cycle, I understood it was all about love and all about living life through a different point of view, different from the mind one that we've been taught so far, and that our aim and our new journey was about traveling down from the heart and going down from the mind and going down to the heart. And so this pull from the heart was stronger and stronger to me. And one day I experienced a breakdown, and it was so powerful and so profound to me that I felt totally lost, actually, and I felt as if I didn't know anymore which was the right choice for me, the right path to follow, the right step to take. And so I had this dialogue with universe, and I said, universe, I feel I am called to something more than this that I am experiencing right now. However, I don't know in this moment, what is it? Because I feel like I've already tried all the ways that I knew were possible for me. So right now, I just feel this pull to my more. I don't know what it is, so I surrender completely, and you show me what is it, which is my more. And then I cried, you know, and I basically emptied all my being through this time of, let's say, desperation. I was like desperate. So the day after, I woke up and I went for one of my shedding walks. I was used to have walks in nature in the morning and to speak meanwhile I was walking, and to literally shed my thoughts, my emotions, even physically, you know, because I was moving. And that day I said, well, I'm going to record my voice as I'm speaking. And at the end of this walk, I realized that I went through a heartstorming. In other words, I went through a very powerful process of bringing out from me everything that I had deep inside and everything that was connected with my heart and with my emotions and my feelings and everything I was experiencing of life through my heart, through this love energy that I was feeling more and more every day. So I felt this strong call to share my experience with other people and to share this new way of approaching life through the eyes of the heart. And so I started this process again to write down all the downloads that kept on coming to me about this new way to live life that I call the heartstorming. So at the end, this became a true path, and I was able to share it with a few people, and now it's a course and it's open to more and more people. It's available to more and more people. And tonight, I'm delighted, actually, honored and a little bit excited as well to share the basics, the foundations of this process, so that people who are listening to us right here live, you know, or catching the replay, can, in a certain way, ignite that inner flame that they already have within themselves, and they become more aware that love, it is already within themselves, and that they already went through an expansion of this love during their life. And what we are going through tonight is a process of awareness of this expansion and a process of awareness of how powerful love is. So I invite you, first of all, you know, to go back to that moment in your life when you fell in love. Because the heartstorming is truly this. It's about being in love again. With who and with what? With yourself, with your partner, with life, with whatever is around you. So you know that feeling of being in love when you see there are no obstacles at all, because even challenges or yes, maybe some obstacles, they do not appear as obstacles or limitations, because you have this feeling that everything is possible. And this is when you are actually attuned, truly attuned with your heart. This is what happens when you're truly attuned with your heart. So this is what I'm inviting you all to do, to go into that precious moment, and let's call it room of your existence when you experience that feeling of being in love, when you truly feel energized on all levels, and when you truly feel that everything is possible for you. So I'm going to start, first of all, with a very quick exercise that you can then practice by your own later on after the call. And as you are in this state, let's call it of, yes, being in love, go back to the beginning of your life. You can simply do it, with your imagination right now, or feeling it within yourself. Then later on, you can use pen and paper if you prefer. Then I'm going to show you what I did on the paper, and then you can reply it if it feels fine for you. So basically, I went back since the beginning of my life here on planet Earth, and I said, well, here I am, the little me came here on this earth, and then which are the waves of expansion that I experienced? And the first one, it was when I began, to go to school, then to meet new friends, new people. So my circle started to expand, basically. Then I had another very strong experience, and I decided to go to live abroad. And that was another huge wave of expansion for me, because I left everything I had created till that moment. And with my only suitcase, I went to live into another country. Then the next one was when I decided to become a mom, and I had my children. When I first actually had my first child. Then the other wave of expansion was when I had my second child. Then the other wave was when I realized that my motherhood experience was actually a gift, not just for me, but for other women. And I could share this experience with other women. So I decided to become a coach, then a doula, and then to share my work with other women. And so I put my work out there in the world, And then through this process, through this coaching practice, then I had this, I met many people, many moms. I witnessed many stories until I also grew up personally. I went through an evolution process for my person, for myself, not just in my professional, for my business, but also for my person. And then I had this meeting that I just shared with you at the beginning of the call. So it was a true expansion that brought me to the Heartstorming. And I put it down on paper with some circles, here I share it with you. So this was the first circle when I was just a little me, then when I went abroad, then when I became a mom, first child, second child, and when I became a doula, and so on. And like this, I could physically see this process of expansion, And then what I did is this. I turned the paper upside down, and here I have this kind of hurricane. Because to me, the Heartstorming, it's like an hurricane. It's an hurricane of love that comes into your life to shake your life and to take away everything that became useless, and just what is truly powerful and something that you can truly use for your evolution stays with you. So this is a very intense, very, very intense process. And, I've seen and I've experienced it myself. It shakes you on a very deep level, and you may feel worried, scared, because you may have this feeling of losing something along the path. But it is actually different from a loss. It is actually a process of opening up to something new. And this brings me to share the 4 pillars of the Heartstorming with you. So I'm going pretty quick because I know that we have short time. So this is just the fundamental, you know, of the whole process, but then it's going to be much, much more deeper than this and much more profound. Anyway, the first pillar of the Heartstorming is that wherever you are in your life, so are you a queen? Are you a king? Are you someone who is, you know, in a very deep and profound transition? Are you looking for your purpose in life? Are you very happy, or you in a very challenging moment? Wherever you are, the first pillar of the Heartstorming comes to share with you the wisdom that there is always something more for you. So it doesn't matter if you are the richest person in the world or if you are in the most challenging situation, there is always more for you. And then the second pillar is about claiming this more. So it's about saying, well, I do recognize, I do acknowledge that I already went through a process of expansion in my life. And to do this, to acknowledge this, I invite you to go through the hurricane, you know, the expansion exercise. And then I'm here, universe or God or angels, wherever you believe in, I'm here to claim my more. So it's about, you know, surrendering completely and opening up and saying, I feel that there is more for me. And even though right now I don't have a very clear vision of what this more is for me, I feel it deep down in my heart. And so I claim it, universe. I claim it, help me to see it clearly, and I'm open to receive it. This is the other very important pillar of the Heartstorming process, and it is that there is nothing to search. Your only work is to open up, to allow what is meant for you to reach you and to enter your life. So as you will go through the entire process of the Heartstorming, you will realize that the Heartstorming has a 180 degrees point of view, turn point of view compared to the mind point of view. This is the heart point of view of your life. And so it's not more about searching for something. It's about opening up, surrendering, relaxing, stepping back, and preparing yourself to receive your more. Preparing yourself as you are a soil and you want to make yourself fertile to receive your more, to receive your best life, to receive the love that you are, even more than what you can feel right now. And to be surprised by its power, by its gifts, by, you know, its amazing, yes, power. Let's call it power, okay? So this is the other pillar that I invite you to ponder about. So nothing to search, just my work, my task is to open up and allow what is meant for me to reach me and to enter my life. So this is a very powerful preparation work. It's like, you know, when you want to get pregnant and you change your lifestyle. You stop smoking, you don't drink, you don't drink alcohol or coffee or whatever it is, you have a healthy diet. Well, you are supposed to have a healthy lifestyle anyway, but you are preparing the ground for the seed to come and then for the seed to take root and you know, evolve and grow within yourself. So it's very similar to this. Let's change the perspective from searching to be found. And I invite you to, you know, to close your eyes and again, attune with your heart and give yourself permission to experience this sensation. How is it for you to be found instead of searching for what you want? What do you experience in your body when you are found by the person, the opportunity, a connection, the new job, let's say the trip that you so much wanted to take, the next step that comes clearly to you? How is it to be found by those things? And how is it to feel yourself that you open up to all these things and that you stop the tension that you create when you consistently search for something? Have you ever experienced in your life that as soon as you stop searching for something, that something presented itself to you? It can be like an object, it can be a person, an opportunity. Like, let's share this very simple example. Well, actually, I'm going to share something that unfolded for me. So I so much wanted to find a blue bag this summer. I wanted to have a new bag and I wanted it to be blue. And so I was searching and going around, you know, in the shops, and I was searching for this blue bag, you know, but I couldn't find exactly what I wanted, or there weren't actually any blue bags. And then one day I went to a shop to buy something totally different, you know, like a light bulb or something like this. And the blue bag just was in that shop. And so I didn't have to search for it. And I wasn't anymore attached to the idea of searching for this new blue bag. And I was so relaxed, and I released all the tensions about finding that thing that I so much wanted. So that thing came to me because I opened up a space for it to reach me. So this is the third very important pillar of the Heartstorming. And then I want to complete with the fourth one, that is when something is taken away from you, this is the trigger for the trust. So it is very important in the Heartstorming process to ignite the trust as well. When you are in love, that is the first feeling, the first emotion that I invited you to connect with. When you are in love, you trust. You trust the person, you trust the situation, you trust that all the way will be open for you. You trust that you will have all green lights along the way. No matter what will present to you, you trust that you will be able to do it. So it is important to understand that when it feels that you are losing something, maybe it's because that something is giving space to something bigger, to your more, to reach you. And so it's about triggering and igniting this trust that something more aligned with who you are will reach you. Something better than what you have, let's say, lost. Something that is coming to fulfill your life on a higher level. So the trust is very, very important to tune into this frequency of love. And like this, I'm going to wrap up very quickly so that you can ask me questions or you can give me feedbacks or wherever you feel like. This is a process that through the power of love, brings you back into who you are deep inside your heart and your soul, and allows you to see clearly there in that hidden room within yourself. And through all the passages of this process, your authenticity is going to emerge. What is authenticity? Is that voice that you start to hear more and more as you attune with your heart? Is that clarity of your heart talking to you? And then it's bringing this voice out from you with your actions, with your words, with your lifestyle, with your connection. So it's alignment between what is within you and what is around and outside you. So this is authenticity, because you can, yes, I've seen it as well. 22, so magical, powerful number. Alignment, 2222. Just perfect synchronicity. So yes, this is authenticity, because if you just hear the voice of your heart and you leave it there without doing nothing, well, okay, that is the authentic voice of your heart. But then you need actually to do something to align your whole being to that voice. And like this, you will experience all your senses to open up, and then you will experience another huge pull to be just authentic. It will become more and more difficult to be disaligned with your authenticity, because when you tune into that voice, into that power of love that brings up who you truly are, it's going to become almost impossible to stop that voice, to deny it, and to deny yourself permission to be who you are. So this is the core of the Heartstorming. It's about love, and it's also about letting who you truly are to emerge through the power of the love energy. That gives you tremendous support and motivation and inspiration along the way. Because when you are in the love frequency, anything appears possible. You feel a huge power within yourself that you can create what you desire, that you can go through any experience. So very, very in short, truly in short, this is what the Heartstorming process is. And for me, the goal was to share it with as many people as possible, because right now we are experiencing a change, a huge change in the world, in the planet. And the new way to live this new life that is unfolding for us is through love. We have already lived life through the mind, and now we are called to go deeper and to ignite this love energy. The world, the humanity is ascending, so it's basically stepping on a higher level, and the propellant for this process is the energy of love. So I see there is a question. Can I read it, or do you want to read it, Elisabetta? Okay. So Nadia says, my question to Silvia, how would you daily work with this process? Which exercises you do to tune regularly into the energy of love? So the first one that I did, as I shared in the beginning, and I still do it 3 times a day. This is the basic, I have my alarm set 9 a.m. in the morning, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and 9 p.m. in the evening. So it's very easy, 939. And so I stop for 1 minute. I have my alarm, so the music goes, and I have my very short quote. It can be feel your heart, align yourself, or just heart, or just a little heart, you know, wherever it is. And I stop, I physically put my hands on my chest, on my heart, and I stop wherever I'm doing, I stop. Let's say that I'm on the train, or I'm out for shopping, or wherever it is. At least I listen to the music I mean of my alarm, and I become aware in that moment that my heart is beating within myself. Okay? Otherwise, if you are alone at home or in a safe space, you can simply stop, put your hands on your heart, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel your heart. This is the basic, because, you know, we are so busy, and we are so let's say trapped into this very, very busy and fast life, that we forget to stop, and we forget that we have a heart beating 24 hours a day since the very moment we were conceived. And so as you start physically feeling your heart, you will then notice that your heart will start to speak to you, will start to share some messages with you. This is a matter of practice. You need to be consistent in doing this, and the more you do it, the more you will hear, the more messages you will hear, and the more able you will be to attune into your heart, and the more in love you will feel. This is also a very powerful exercise if you are in a stressful situation. And let's say that you are having a quarrel with someone, or you are experiencing a challenge or stress, some kind of stress. You can just stop for a minute. You don't have to stop for, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, just a minute or 30 seconds, and put at least one hand on your heart and feel it, and find the peace in that magical space that you have here in the middle of your chest. So this is the basic, Nadia, and this is something that you can do daily. Personally, I do it 3 times a day now. It's very easy, when you start it and you make it to become a ritual. So when you have the alarm, it becomes a ritual, and it becomes something that, like an autopilot, so it becomes easier and easier as you practice. But then in the Heartstorming process, we have several exercises as well. We have exercises to transmute the energy into love energy, for example. So again, if you are in a triggering situation, if you have people who are triggering you, or you feel that there is a lot of tension around you and that you are unable in that moment to deal with the circumstances, there is an exercise that I actually call love blowing machine, because you become a machine, like a machine that transmutes the, let's say, challenging energy that you have around, and through the power of your breath, you transmute that energy into love. And so you are able to inhale the triggering air, and to breathe out, to exhale love energy. Then we have the physical release exercise as well. I'm just, sharing a few of them. There are several along the way. I also included some heart activation that can help you. So you simply go through the heart activation with a track that I post in the in the website that is the container for the course, and then you don't have to do anything else, because basically the activation works for you. So you just need to listen to it, and then it goes. And then you have the modules as well of the course. So there are 10 different modules, and you are going to work on different levels to open up several layers, several new levels, to allow this love energy to fill your whole being more and more, and to allow more new situations, new connections, new opportunities to be triggered. So I hope I answer you properly, Nadia. I just share the basic, and then you find several other support exercises in the course. I actually open a session that I call Support X, where you can find the support exercise to go this process. Yes. So you're welcome. You're welcome. And there is another thing that I noticed, because you are a mama too, Nadia. And so what I've noticed is that when you are going through the heartstorming, actually this is so potent process that you are starting to see changes in the people around you as well. Your children, for example, are the first, I notice it in my children too, and in the closest people, let's say your partner, or if you have a person that you meet regularly, or anyone you are very close with, even though you are not in the same place, even though you are deeply connected, let's say through the media, through Facebook, or if you just hear the person on the phone, for example. I have seen these changes to unfold for the people around you as well. So this is like a revelation process, if I can call it like this. It helps you to find out who you truly are and which is your purpose as well. This is what I personally experienced. For me, for example, it was about working with the authenticity, and especially with the energy of the masculine and the feminine. I've seen for other people, for example, their job situation, their relationships, the role they play in society, so they felt this pull to change them, to shift them, even drastically sometimes. And then just for clarification, do you call the heartstorm the challenging moments in life? No, thank you for the question. The heartstorming is the process of triggering the authenticity within you. So the heartstorming actually helps you, gives you support in going through the challenging moments in life. It may seem challenging because it's very deep, and it triggers very deep emotions, and it scatters you, but it is actually what builds and creates the strength within you to go through these challenging situations and to have the power to say, I see clearly who I am and what it is important for me. And so this is my choice in regard of this situation, or this relationship, or this whatever. And this is what I choose because this is aligned with who I am. And so this may be challenging, let's say, but it is actually the healing key of the whole process. So again, I hope I was clear enough. The heartstorming is this hurricane, is this powerful. I always visualize it as an hurricane because it is so strong, and it truly, what does an hurricane? It comes, like a storm. It triggers everything, and sometimes it deconstructs as well in order to make space to rebuild. And this is what you are doing through the Heartstorming. So at the end, you will find yourself more powerful in your vulnerability than you were at the beginning, when you maybe felt stronger and you were hiding your vulnerable self. Your vulnerable self is the self who is able to connect to your heart, feel its presence, hear its voice, and then be able to express it and bring it out from you and share it with the world, so that you can be aligned with who you truly are. And so that your actions, your words, your connections, your environment becomes aligned with your authentic self,
Wow, Silvia, that was quite an interesting class, and I've noticed so many synchronicities as you were just talking, which I will share about in just a minute. Thank you so much for presenting your class to us. I thought it was so interesting, and I especially love the thunderstorm and like hurricane process. Actually, you know, I drew it down because I don't want to forget it. But I'll probably take some, 5 or 10 minutes later to just write down which ones my activations were. There's a few things that I'd like you maybe to dive deeper, if that's okay with you. And so truly it's, when you were speaking about how it is to be found, and how it is to, receive instead by the universe. And I feel like, this is kind of like, there is an answer, like an obvious answer already, but, I'd like you to just sort of almost like rephrase it, because the way I see it is that, yes, our heart does expand and our being does expand, but that's just because the universe is expanding anyway. So do you feel that that is something that is aligned with our soul purpose already from the beginning, and that it's simply just almost like a silky thread that thrives through from the moment we are born until, we pass back into the universe, and that, through the quantum expansion in the universe, that our heart, because it's magnetically connected to the universe, this is what is actually happening physically, so that we can actually feel the spiritual expansion that's happening within us as a full being. So not just as a physical being, but also as a energetic, emotional, mental being, and obviously, cosmic and infinite being. What's your standpoint on that, and how do you connect the work that you do, with the heart? And I understand, that the Heartstorming process, that's something that you have created yourself, but how does that tie in with the things that we have already understood, through science and spirituality and new age concepts? Like, how can you tie those and weave those together?
Yes, we don't really need the science, I mean, this is something, it's a kind of knowledge that we already have within us. For sure, there is a purpose for each one of us, and not for all of us it is clear, as we jump here on planet Earth. Some of us never find it. For some of us, it unfolds along the way. And for sure, the Heartstorming, it's an opportunity for the people who are consciously touched by it. So for the people who consciously decide to become the eye of the Heartstorm, and live this process, it's a trigger to speed up the clarification of what your purpose is. And about your first question, because there were a few of them, all in the same one. So about being found, it's exactly in the moment when you surrender. So when you become aware that, yes, the universe is expanding, it's expanding. So we are expanding, okay. But it's in the moment you become aware you are part of this process, because you are a living part of the universe, and you surrender to it. So you believe, again, you trigger the trust that you are part of this process. So you say, okay, I surrender because I'm part of this, and I feel within myself, again, with this inner knowledge that you have within your heart, that it is a kind of knowledge that doesn't require an explanation, a scientific explanation. It is something that you know within yourself already. It's like faith, you know, you don't need an explanation, you know it within yourself. In that moment, in this moment of awareness, yes, I'm part of this expansion, I surrender to it. When you surrender to it, in that moment, something happens in the universe, and that space that you create, it's a space where you allow things, immediately is filled by the matter, the universal matter, and it is filled by what you desire. So you don't have to search for it anymore. It's this surrendering that creates a space. And so, because the matter, like water that goes wherever there is a space, a little hole or a little crap or wherever it is, you know, that matter fills your space within your heart. So we are talking about desires or people, situations, again, let's call them desires, so they can fill your space, your heart space. And from there you can expand them, and you can start to experience them on a profound level. Then what else? Because I know there were different, there was another one.
I think you've answered it. I think you've answered it, and you've put it into perspective the way you put it. The way I see it as well, and that's just, you know, that's just me sort of bringing in my my Lizzie awareness, or, you know, my own experience, and you know, from what I've noticed as well, is I totally agree. I think we all have that knowing within ourselves. There is something very deep and very meaningful that we carry within ourselves, and as we go through this journey of life and through this journey, it's all about expanding that knowing and letting the whole, sorry, my mom was just distracted, she just walked in, and really knowing how to expand that within yourself. So it's all your own journey that you're going through, and the more you accept that there are things that are almost, you know, are malleable, the more you understand yourself in a way. It's like you don't have to force anymore.
Yes.
And that truly, you know, gets us back actually onto our worksheets today. So I'm just going to quickly spend 5 minutes on today's worksheet, because I feel like, you know, this is so beautifully tied in, and I actually don't know about your work, but somehow intuitively, you know, I just, you know, brought this into the worksheet today. So it's quite exciting. 2244. Amazing. I was just going to access the actual worksheet. So yeah, and actually what I put down is there is a task on grief. So I'd like you guys to look at grief and really like spend a moment with what it means for you, like what it is that grief is holding back within you, and how you feel that there is this empty gap, because often when we go through grief, there is this sensation that something has gone and we can't call it back anymore. And something where I had a revelation a few months ago actually was that grief is simply love that has nowhere to go. So we used to pour all this love and all these beautiful feelings into this person or into this situation, or, you know, into this experience, and then suddenly that outpouring is gone. So the actual destination for that love is gone. And so that's what we feel, is that there is this emptiness that's, you know, almost getting lost somehow. And so the best way that I found was a breakthrough to me was, well, actually, if that is love that has nowhere to go, so where can I redirect it? Like, where can I channel it in instead? And And I've worked a lot through this with some clients who, you know, had lost loved ones, you know, very close relatives. And this really was a breakthrough for them as well, because often we spend our lives just pouring out love, and especially towards that one person, like when it's your main partner, it's very painful to then suddenly have to realize this. And so there was this breakthrough for them that I've understood, that when they were able to redirect that love, and often the person who needed that love the most was actually themselves. That's why the cycle was closed, and there was, you know, the energy of the heart started to, you know, get back into the natural frequency, and, you know, that expansion that you beautifully described earlier on started to rise again. So guys, I'd like you to look at it at this, like, you know, what aspects in your life do you feel that you are grieving, you know? And this can be something really subtle. It could literally be that, I don't know, you're not even taking the same journey to work anymore, or, you know, you're not going to the same place, or, you know, that person that you used to hang out with is, you know, is not necessarily present in your life. Like, how can you redirect that love? And if it's something bigger, you know, just journal it and just put it down. So that's task 1. And task 2 and task 3, you're just going to laugh your head off, Silvia, because this is it's so funny, because we were talking about, you know, the mini me and the older me, and how, you know, we have this expansion that runs through our life, almost like a thread. And actually, what I'm going to invite you to do, guys, is to write a love letter to yourself. Okay, when was the last time you received a love letter? And I actually bring this up in today's worksheet as well. You know, this connection that we have with falling in love and being in love, and receiving the gifts of love, and, you know, learning how to give these gifts of love to ourselves. And so task 2 is for you to get in tune with your older self. So imagining your older self, you know, older than 80 or 90, and just imagine how she would speak to you right now. Like, you know, what would be the advice that she could give you? What would she tell you about the obstacles that she had to overmount, right? And just really getting in there and just really playing it out. Like, I remember when I did this exercise, I wrote the letter and then I actually read it to myself in the mirror, and it was so powerful, and I had like tears just running down, and I feel that, you know, it's like our heart already knows the journey of expansion it's going to go through in this life. And so when we tap into that connection, there's something much more empowering and more energetic, that, you know, more vibrant, that just floods through us. And then the other one, task 3, is to write a love letter to your mini me, right? To your mini you. Who is she? You know, was she 5 years old? Like, when was she the most candid and the most playful? And how can you express your love to this mini you? Write her a love letter. Is there something that you need to apologize for? Is there something that you need to, you know, come to peace with? Is there something on your chest that you feel like you need to tell your younger self, you know? And how could you encourage and, you know, empower this younger self? Like, what is it? What is the love or the support that she didn't get when she was young? What can you tell her right now? How can you empower her, right? And again, you know, you can practice working through this in the mirror later. And then, funny enough, my task 4 is to set an alarm that is called heart. And I said, literally in words, this is what I wrote: remember to connect to your physical heart. Feel the heartbeat and listen in. Acknowledge it. Do you need to energize or slow down? I mean, hello, baby. And I had no idea that you had this alarm. So this is this is amazing. I just love it. We were connected all along. And then obviously task 5 is our gratitude journal. And this time I ask you to write 5 things instead of only 3 things. So yeah, guys, grab your journals. Ladies, goddesses, get your journals and take notes, because notes are the things that you can look back onto. Notes are the ultimate tool and way for you to journal and look back onto your own journey, onto your own progressions, onto your own successes, on how you've actually overcome the pain, even if that day you're just writing about your own pain and about the hurt that you're experiencing. Just put that on paper, because when you're going to read back on this, you will know how you've overcome that pain and how you've overcome that hurt. And there are so many keys in, I mean, I was moving out of London just recently, and I found all my stuff, you know, all my old diaries and all my, you know, like morning pages and things that I used to write at the time. And I've been through some very dark days when I was in London. It wasn't all rosy and cozy. And truly, it was so revelational to me to see the place that I was in, and I was still writing, and that's when I was writing the most. And today I look back on it and I'm thinking, wow, there's a key there, there's a key there, there's a key here. You know, this is something that I can teach, right? And this is actually why I'm on this path to, I'm not even calling myself a teacher anymore. I'm just calling myself a sharer, because I'm sharing my own experience, and I'm hoping that people will find keys in whatever I share. So you never know who it is that you will need to help with those keys that you found throughout your life. Just like you, Silvia, and many of the other mentors who are on our calls, they are amazing because they have undug their own keys. And you yourself have keys as well. You might not have keys for, you know, hundreds of people, hundreds of an audience, but you might have a key for a cousin or a friend or your child, or, you know, even your grandpa. Okay, we all have these keys, and, you know, we're just passing them on to each other. They're all the same keys. They've been the same keys for thousands of years. But when we pass them on to each other with our story tied and weaved in, that's when it has the power and the meaning, and that's when we can access other people's hearts. This is how we connect our hearts. Okay, and then of course there is, you know, an invitation for you to share your journey, to share your progresses, to share your hurts, to share your vulnerabilities, your vulnerable spots, the things that you're searching for still, you know, where you feel a little bit dark or, you know, not quite so connected. Just share it in the group. Let us have a look at it together. You know, you're not alone. You're not by yourself. We're like a group of 77 today. Imagine that. There's 77 members in our Sexy Magic for Goddesses group. I'm so stoked. This is beautiful. So, yeah. So guys, do you have any questions? Girls, do you want to speak up? Do you want to share any feedback or anything that, you know, stood out to you? I can also unmute you, or you can just write it in the chat. Just put it down below. Okay, it seems like everyone has gone quiet. Okay, just give us a heart if you loved the call today, if you enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, Silvia, thank you so much for connecting. We'll stay on for a couple more minutes. Thank you so much for connecting tonight and making time in your schedule and sharing your beautiful heart love with us. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, you know, there was some really useful tools there, and I can't wait to, you know, tie them into my own work and, you know, redo the hurricane and turn it around. I love that. It was brilliant.
Thank you, Elisabeth. Thank you, the people who were live here with us. And thank you, the ones who are going to watch the reply.
Yay! Amazing. Well, also, I want everyone to receive my warm invitation to jump on over to the Just Giving Fund, because we are funding a beautiful cause with a charity called Forward. They are all about supporting women who have gone through or who are in threat of female genital mutilation. So let's make our pleasure cast ripples of love and beauty out in the world and cause serious healing rather than hurt. Because, yeah, I guess, you know, we're all connected. All the goddesses in the group, you're all amazing. You're just fantastic beings. And I know that even if you're just going to give £1 or whatever it is that you feel in your heart, there's actually a whole like meditation or ritual that you can do to connect with the cause. So I really invite you to read it and to really connect and feel what is the number that feels right for you to donate, okay? Because we want to use our intuition with this. We want to use our intuition with pretty much everything we do. So this whole Pleasurethon is all about activating our intuition on all aspects in our life and really using this gift and putting it into practice. So we're stretching our endurance for pleasure. Yay! All right, my beautiful loves, I'll send you off with angel wings and butterfly wings and fairy wings, whichever one you choose to do. And I love you very much, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Bye.